Hi everyone, it's Sam from Sitemate. Delays are an inevitable part of working on construction projects, so it's really important to have an efficient tool for mitigating these delays and moving projects forward as quickly as possible. In this video, we're going to look at how easy it is to track delays and change events inside of Dashpivot. So I've got a template set up already for doing this. You'll see that it's set up as a workflow, meaning that each event or delay needs to move through a standardized process. In this case, it's moving between different people before it ultimately becomes resolved. And I'll show you how this works. So if I go ahead and click Add Event, you see that we've got a template set up already with a series of fields. I'm going to go ahead and plug in some information, the date. Maybe we had a subcontractor delay. It was a truck crane, had a breakdown. So I'm just going to add that in. And we can add as much detail as is required, of course. If we need to add photos, in this case we've already got a photo, I can click Add Photos. I can select the photo that I want. That's now attached to this record. A quick note on this, if you're filling out this form on the mobile app, you can actually take a photo from inside of the form, while you're there on site and attach it or link it straight into this record straight away. Moving ahead, we've got a series of other fields. We've got a sketch field and some checkbox fields and tables and things like that, to capture additional information. Once I'm happy with that, basically I'm going to hit save. And you can see that we've got this change event, this delay form has now been created, and it's sitting in this first column. Now, obviously the goal is to move it to the resolved column. But before that, we need to effectively get the sign-off from the senior project engineer, the SPE, and the project manager. So what we can do is we can open up this form, and you'll see that we have a series of signatures, which are actually set up as what we call approval signatures. So it's approving it to go from one column to the next. And it tells us, sign here to move this event to the next column. And we've got a series of these. You'll see that we've got one down here for the SPE, and we've got one down here for the project manager. But you'll notice that these two are grayed out. And the reason for that is that these signatures have to happen in order, because first it needs to move from the first column to the next, to the second column, from the second to the third, etc. So we could go ahead and click that approval signature. We can click that button there. But what we want to do first is we want to actually notify the senior project engineer and the project manager every time a form moves into this column. And the way that we do that is with a feature that we call workflow notifications. We can click on this button here and effectively assign people, within this team to receive a notification each time a form moves there. So in this case, maybe the SPE in this case is Josh. So I'm going to click Josh. Josh will receive a notification via email, and the project manager might be Nick. So I'm going to go ahead and click Nick. And now, I can tell that these people will receive a notification every time it moves across. So I'll go ahead now, I'll open this up, scroll down to that first approval signature. I'm going to click sign. Once I've done that, I can click save, and you'll see that it's moved from the first column to the second column. And because this workflow notifications has been enabled, I know that Josh will now have received an email via his inbox with a link to basically open this up and sign his section. So he'll be able to come in, scroll down, fill out the relevant details required from the SPE, and then he can click sign, save, and then of course it moves it across to the next column, for example. So over time, you might have multiple change events running through your workflow at once, something that might look a little bit more like this. Obviously, over time, as you have more records, the register view becomes really handy. So I can click on that, and then I can start to view all of the information inside of the forms in, something more similar to something like Excel. And we've got similar functionality, so we can go ahead and we can filter by supplier delays as an example. Apply that filter, and we can see that we've got just a single event at the moment that was recorded. And the filtering becomes really powerful because maybe you want to filter by delay type, by contractor, by month, etc. so that, as the project goes on, you can see, where are you having a lot of delays, where are we having a lot of incidents, etc., etc. So if you'd like to use this change events template, you can build one from scratch, or you can select from our free public template library. So you can go ahead and click on that and then add the change management workflow to your own team. And that's how you can track delays and change events in Dashpivot.